Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 2 of the Kudo podcast brought to you by the BTDA. I'm Abisha, I'm one of your hosts, and I've been joined by my co host Hari. Today, we're pleased to announce that our guest is our very own founder of the British Tamil Dental Association, cosmetic dentist, and Barts graduate, Dr. Milton Justinsuthakaran. So, Milton, would you like to tell everyone a bit about yourself, what you do?
Yeah, of course. I think cosmetic dentist is a bit crazy though. I've never called myself a cosmetic dentist, but um, I think general dentist is fine. But yeah, I'm working as a dentist at the moment. I graduated in 2023. I'm working across a few sites at the moment, predominantly doing a mix of restorative dentistry, some aligners, and some composite bonding as well. So I guess there's like a variety of things that I'm doing at the moment, but I'm really enjoying the working side of things. It's definitely taken up more time than I would have liked, but I think when you're young and you've just kind of graduated as well, you're just trying to get as much experience as possible and make the most of the opportunities that you've been given as well. So that's why I'm just like running around like a headless chicken. Like it's my only day off like in a while. So um but beyond that with like the BTDA, so that started in 2022 and it was just an idea that we had because when I joined uni, I thought that there wouldn't be like many other Tamil people. And then within my year itself, there were like four or five others, which for me was quite surprising because you never really hear about Tamil people applying for dentistry. It's always like medicine or yeah, it's probably only medicine or law or something like that. And then I've only recently started noticing people going into finance as well. So, but then obviously like there are many generations of people already in these fields. And because of the lack of exposure and networking and connections, we don't really know. So I think it I kind of identified a gap there and I wanted to bridge that gap just so that we can connect with each other and we can learn from each other. Um, and then we can essentially grow this community where we can just keep, supporting people who are younger than us, but also gain some support from people who are older, and established as well. So yeah, I guess that's a bit of backstory.
Is that something that you would recommend? So you said, "Well, I feel young. You want to try and get in as many experience points, I guess, or just hours of work." Is that something that you would recommend to all young dentists to try and grind
Yeah.
out, like within your 20s?
I don't know, man. Like it's definitely then there needs to be balance ultimately. And for me at the moment, it's definitely not on the balance side. As much as I'm enjoying it, there's definitely like a mental and physical toll that obviously I don't really tell people because there's that tunnel mindset of, yeah, just have to hustle it out. I think like where a lot of our parents have come from, like essentially war, they're asylum seekers, etc. They came here with that hustle and mindset. I think seeing how hard my mum worked, it kind of made me feel like if I wasn't working as hard as her or harder, what am I doing? So I think that's why I end up working like 6, 7 days at times. And it's not for everyone. Like I wouldn't recommend it unless the opportunities that are presented are worth it, if that makes sense. Because ultimately, it's not like I'm going to be working 7 days for years, but it's a short-term thing where I've gained so much value. So one of the practices that I work at offered me like a composite bonding role. I would say sometime in May, June now. So it's like been 5 months. And over those 5 months, I've done probably over 10, 15 cases, and they're providing me that value, that knowledge, the equipment, the mentorship, which is really difficult to get. Like I was literally just offered it. I've obviously got a working relationship with the practice and the people there, so that's why it kind of brought open that opportunity for me. But do I regret it? No, like it's probably one of the best decisions I've made. But yeah, like I said, I don't think it's for everyone because some people just won't be able to cope with that mental strain. I suppose in that sense, I've built a bit more resilience. But if I could like do everything I'm doing, but have like an extra day in the week, I would happily do that. I think you still need to have a balance in terms of having that mental rest and physical rest because dentistry is such a tolling profession, especially when you're seeing in a mixed practice visit. If, for example, you're seeing 20 patients a day, every single person is coming to you with a problem, and you essentially have to be a problem solver 20 times a day, if not more. And some of these problems can be quite complicated as well. Like yesterday, for example, um, I had a patient who came in. She's been on 2 courses of antibiotics, and the kind of presentations that she was coming with haven't changed at all. It's probably getting worse. So in my mind, I'm thinking it's either a severe, bacterial kind of infection, which is not being cured by these amoxicillin, metronidazole, or whatever. So is it viral? Is it fungal, etc.? So then I'm thinking about oral medicine from fifth year, fourth year, trying to see, like, trying to scope through the lectures in my mind, and then in the end, like, you still really can't always diagnose everything. It's really tricky, which is why we refer to oral medicine so they can do further testing, blood work, and stuff like that. But then imagine that, and then you've got a patient you're seeing next, and you've just done like a filling for them, but then they're still really nitpicky about it. Like, there's always, you're working with people at the end of the day, right? And if you're not able to cope with that kind of pressure, then maybe working as much as I am, for example, is not the right thing. But again, it really depends on the opportunities that are presented. I think if it's worth it for the short term and you're gaining a lot of experience, connection, confidence as well, then for sure. I I wouldn't say that there are a lot of people at my stage of my career where, people are relatively comfortable doing things like composite bonding. So I'm really grateful for having, that opportunity.
So for those
Yeah.
high pressure situations that you're talking about, high pressure, high toll dental situations, you've got to act like
Mhm.
really fast and obviously like stay calm. So
Yeah.
how do you think your experience as a lifeguard, being like the first in line for emergencies, prepared you for that?
Being a lifeguard taught me to not drown, man. I think, like, with lifeguarding, it's more, it could almost become life or death, right? Like, if someone is drowning, I was about to say, if a patient is drowning, if like someone swimming is drowning, you have to act quickly, but you also have to be calm. With dentistry, like, you don't necessarily have to be super quick to act unless it's a medical emergency. Like, for example, if you're doing like a cavity prep and like you've cut the gum and you've gone slightly subgingival, you might be thinking, oh crap, like there's so much blood, like you need to quickly get a matrix around this, like stop the bleeding or whatever. But in reality, like, sometimes you just need to chill out, look at what the situation is presenting, and then you kind of have to look at what kind of solutions you can present to that situation. And sometimes you'll literally make makeshift some like a solution to that problem right then and there. And that's how you build your kind of inventory of solutions over the years, because not everyone's got the same way of kind of combating a problem. So like, you might ask a dentist, oh, how would you fix this? But another person might do it slightly differently. Yeah, I think lifeguarding is slightly different in the sense of how I'd relate it to problem solving in dentistry. But ultimately, I think keeping calm is definitely like similarity between the both, because if you're panicking and my man's drowning, you're gonna probably end up drowning as well. So yeah, I think staying calm is definitely.
And so you've obviously got a bit of experience under your belt now, but can you look back to the time where you first did this and you're like, wow, this is real, like it's all on you now? How did that bit?
Yeah, that was crazy. So it would have been like foundation year. Um, to be honest, like, I was a bit gassed. So you finish uni and you've suddenly got like your GDC number, you've got the title as doctor. Um, And I don't know, like, I think everyone leaves gassed. I was definitely gassed. I came in on my first day and I was like, yeah, look at me, man, like dentist, introducing myself as Dr. Milton, this and that. That definitely slowly like reduced quickly. Like, I wasn't introducing myself as doctor anymore because I didn't feel like I could. Like, I felt so inexperienced, like literally a week into FD. And to be honest, like, in my foundation year, my practice weren't probably like the most supportive. They had their own issues going on in the background. So like, a lot of the time was just me in my room with my nurse, and we're just cracking on. Rarely would I go and seek advice from my supervisors, because they'd probably just be too busy. Yeah, I think like the first couple of times I had an issue, I was literally like begging my supervisor to come and like basically just bail me out. I remember I was trying to do the surgical extraction after watching it on a study day, and I'm there trying it, and I've already like fractured the tooth like beyond what I think I can take out. And I'm like, "Oh, what do I do?" And then like I'm literally like running, get my gloves off, running down the corridor. I'm like, yo, like ES, like I told my ES, like, can you come through? And he's like, oh, like he's busy doing like an implant surgery himself. So he's like, oh yeah, just wait like 20 minutes. And I'm like, bro, like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do for 20 minutes? So then I was literally just like there, luxating in the same spot for 20 minutes. Because obviously I don't want to make the situation worse, right? Um, but and then he came, and then he basically all I had to do was section a little bit lower, so in the furcation, but I didn't go low enough. So he just came, he made the sectioning low enough for them to us basically separate the roots and take them out. Um, and then he came and literally did it in like 5 minutes, and I'm just there after luxating for 20 minutes, man. It was so embarrassing. I think after then it kind of made me realize that maybe I shouldn't just dive first into everything just because I've graduated. Perhaps there's still a bit more to learn. So then I think it hits everyone like that. I think you realize that there is just so much more to learn. Dental school provides you with the very minimum basic level of safe dentistry, but in reality, like there isn't a lot that you can do because it doesn't give you different solutions to different problems and things like that. It's very much like here's problem A, here's problem B, this is how you solve it. But in reality, to problem A, there could be C, D, E, F, X, Y, Z to solve it, which comes from experience, chatting to people, older clinicians, etc. So yeah, that the first couple of times I've had an issue at practice, yeah, it was not fun at all. Like I'm sweating, have to get the AC on like in the middle of the summer or whatever. Like it's just not bad. I mean, it's in the middle of the winter, sorry, like it's crazy. So yeah, but I think it's an experience that everyone will end up having. So yeah, I wouldn't say like I felt alone in that. I think everyone I spoke to basically had something similar. So
Lot to look forward to, right?
yeah, it's a good year to be honest. Like you definitely do learn a lot. You become more independent. Like if I compared myself to the first month of foundation year to the first month of me being an associate, very different. And then if I compare myself to the first year of associate to now my second year of associate, again, very different. Like in terms of how much I'm grossing, my confidence talking to patients, my clinical confidence, upselling treatment, like it's changed so much. And that's like literally in the space of 2 years and it's flown by. So I think that growth is so exponential and you'll feel it yourself. Your patients will notice it as well. And yeah, it's a really nice feeling to have, but obviously with all things that go up, you will have your downs. So it's part of the experience.
You said about upsells, right?
Mm.
So at what point does it go from dentistry to a business? Because surely there's a fine line of, okay, does this patient actually need the treatment, or they don't need it, but I'm going to upsell it to them?
So it really becomes a question as to what you define as what they need. Like, is it an immediate need? Is it something that's elective? So they don't necessarily need it straight away, but it will improve the functionality of their teeth, their oral health, and provide them with like essentially natural protection for their teeth long term. So I think the NHS is very much focused towards urgent needs, stabilization, and that's really it. Anything beyond that is would be seen as elective. So say for example, like you see a patient who's in their like 40s, 50s, they've got a bunch of amalgams in their mouth, like really big, fat, juicy amalgams, and they've got like loads of hairline fractures around all of them. It's asymptomatic, but you know at some point one of those vulnerable casts are just going to ping off. And it happens all the time. Like you'll literally see a patient in like January and then like by September, even though they've had this filling for like God knows 20 years, for some reason, as soon as you've seen them, like 6 months later, something breaks or pings off or trips, fractures. Now, as a healthcare professional, it's your obligation to tell them about that situation, even though it's not something that's going to cause them a problem immediately. It's something that you have to tell them about, and you can recommend elective treatment for that, and that would be seen as private treatment because it's not an urgent need that the NHS would basically require you to do because the patient's not in pain, etc. So then, as a result of that, you can either take a picture, a scan, show the patient this issue, and you can be like, Mr. Smith, you've got this problem in your tooth. You've got like essentially these small crack lines. Ultimately, what this can lead to is failure of that tooth. You might get like a portion of it cracking off. That can affect your ability to eat, smile, etc. So why don't we get ahead of the problem and we can place a restoration on top of this? Ideally, something that's going to last many years, because this is elective treatment. It's not something that we would offer on the NHS. So typically the kind of recommendation would be to do something in white. So we can do like a white crown or like a partial crown. Uh, Patients don't know what an onlay is, so I just sometimes take partial crown. And then it's just a matter of whether they can afford it in that moment in time or not. So if they can't, then you can't really do anything. At least you've done your ethical and moral obligation of telling the patient that they've got something wrong with their tooth. And then if they've got the money, then they can do it. If they can't, then you just keep an eye on it. So that's how I choose if a patient needs something. But then obviously like cosmetically, if someone wants veneers, bonding, etc., then it starts to get a little bit trickier because at that point it's not really health orientated, it's more to improve smiles and stuff like that. So I think in this sense, I'm really confident with composite bonding because it's virtually like reversible. Like, obviously, when you remove composite bonding, you do remove a very minute amount of tooth in that kind of polishing process once you've removed it. So it's not entirely reversible, but it's definitely as reversible as it gets if you can consider anything like cosmetic. So I think I've got far more confidence in telling patients like, oh, like Mr. Like I've seen you for like a year now, like we've got you nice and stabilized. Is there anything more that you'd like to do with your smile? Are you happy with your smile? Have you got any functions coming, etc.? Um, they might be like, oh yeah, like my kid's getting married. So I'll be like, oh, okay, cool. Like you're obviously going to be in the pictures. Have you thought about like maybe doing up your smile a little bit, like here's some of my work. These are a few examples. And they might be like, oh yeah, like let's do it. Da. On the other flip side, they may not have the money to do it, which is fine. Like, have to understand that in the UK, a lot of people don't have money. Like, it's where we've been in a cost of living crisis for God, like probably since I've been born, bro. Like, it's been mad. So I think ultimately when you're charging £300 for filling or like £800 for crown, that could potentially be someone's like weekly salary or something like that, or like maybe something that they get in 2 weeks' time. And for them to drop that money on a crown, they might not see that as an immediate concern of theirs. So I think you just have to be like, don't get offended when people like clearly can see the benefit, but they just can't afford it. It's not ideal for like you to constantly be talking about something when they just clearly can't obviously afford it. So I think there needs to be like a level of respect to the patient as well in that sense. But yeah, I think with veneers, I would really struggle to kind of talk about that because I always like there's this thing in dentistry like where you're not comfortable with the procedure, you basically try and say all of the risks of it and not any of the benefits. So, say like, I'm quite a victim of this all the time as well. So when I'm talking about bonding or veneers, I'm like, yeah, bonding's like super minimal, like we barely touch your teeth. Like if we take it off, we can basically redo it. Like you're really young, so let's do it. If veneers, like we need to take your teeth off, like even if it's super minimal, like we still need to take something off. Like it's a really complex bonding procedure. The lab work is much more like it takes more time. And I'm trying to talk myself out of doing it, which obviously you're missing out on the potential, opportunity there. But it's really a psychological thing. And I think as soon as you get the experience, then you can be a bit more confident selling things. But yeah, I think where it's starting to get a little bit more invasive, that's where I haven't had really much confidence in talking about those procedures. But I know dentists my age are able to. So it's really like a mindset thing, I guess. But yeah, I don't know if that answers the question.
No, yeah, it does. So I think we'll probably move on to more about the BTDA, right? You're trying to
Hmm.
help the entire network of Tamil dentists across the UK. But if we take it back to 2017, you were the co-president of your school's medicine and dentistry committee. And then in 2020, you became the president of the Barts and London Dental Society. So clearly, leadership has followed you along the way. So did you always know that you'd end up building something big like the BTDA, or did it just happen naturally? You felt like you needed it?
I think like part of me would have always wanted to be involved in some kind of leadership role. And specifically with the BTDA, probably not. I think over the years, I always thought about where the Tamils, man, like what's going on? Like it doesn't make any sense. But then literally, as soon as we started putting some research into creating the BTDA, that's when I realized like, oh my God, like there's so many like Tamil dentists here. Like, why don't we form this organization where we can then start networking, speaking, etc. So yeah, I think it was always on the cards for me at some point, but I didn't really expect it with the BTDA. But to be honest, this is probably like the best thing for me in the sense of like it's something that we've created and it's for the benefit of myself and our people. So like there's probably like no better leadership role I would have chosen. So yeah, really grateful for that and like the people who've obviously helped along the journey so far, such as yourself.
Appreciate it. So, and then in 2021, you finish your term as the president of the Barts and London Dental Society. And then you created the BTDA in 2022. So there was a gap. There was like a gap year in between.
Hmm.
So within that gap year,
That
did you
being my
feel like
leadership.
yeah, a gap year in your leadership? So did it feel like you were missing something? You wanted to build that bigger thing, or was there just a moment where it clicked? And you're like, okay, I need to build this association.
To be honest, like I think I'm like the type of person who can't just sit still. Like I need to always be doing something, which probably goes back to why I'm bloody working like 6, 7 days. But I think like when I was president at Densoc, I didn't really get much time to do dentistry. Like I was more so involved in improving the student experience. Like we had a really tough time at that period of time because it was COVID. I was trying to arrange like exam conditions for the whole dental school, like how lenient things can be for us, like clinical conditions, and like it was just a headache. So I didn't really get to spend a lot of time educating myself. So then I found that fourth year, I really had to do a lot of catch up work. So even though I was missing that element, I felt like I was finally studying again and actually like getting involved in the things I'm bloody paying £9,000 for. I think that kept me busy. But then obviously like we had ideas of BTDA towards the end of fourth year, and I'm still involved with DENSOC as well because even though you finish as president, you're still like there offering advice and whatnot. You're like kind of in the backgrounds, still giving lots of information. So it's similar to how obviously like I've stepped down of the president role in BTDA, and Nivashni and Asvina like killing it at the moment. But you'll still be in the background giving some advice and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't think like fourth year I was really missing much in terms of leadership. It was probably a gap year that I needed. But yeah, on the education side of things, that's when I really honed in and it's like locked in. And actually like started studying a bit more. So probably needed it.
You're obviously president before you're founder of BTDA now. What advice do you think you could give to someone who wants to build something like the BTDA, but they don't feel like they're ready yet, or they don't have the resources?
Ethnic association or
Just general advice for like founders who want to build something impactful.
yeah. I think I think it would have been so difficult if I didn't have like a bunch of like-minded dentists who were there with me from the very beginning. Um, it's such a shame. Like I always think so highly of Savika. I don't know if you guys have even met her. She basically like was my co-president when we first started BTDA, but obviously with all things like life gets in the way, work gets in the way, so she couldn't really be as active in the BTDA. But her help was just like so necessary to get things started off. Obviously like Rash, Ash, Those two names always piss me off, man. Rash Ash. Um, so like there are a few select people at the very beginning, like Jad as well. Like these guys really helped start things off. And because like we were all kind of dotted across the UK, it was tricky in that sense. But me and Savika from day dot at Bart's, like in the lecture hall, we'd just be discussing ideas. And we actually didn't execute anything until we had a rough plan of what we wanted. So it was probably like a few months of planning and talking, and then we were like, let's just do it. It's probably gonna be a bit shit when it starts off, but like it will build. So I think that's like the main advice I'd give someone who's probably starting to think of creating an organization or an association is definitely gather people who are like-minded and have a similar goal with this association and can see the value and benefits that it would give, and then just talk, discuss things, create a plan, and then execute that. Because obviously social media is such an important part of it, because that's how we reached out to so many people. And at that moment in time, I had a bit more free time to basically spend on social media. So all of the early posts and whatnot, like, was mostly driven by myself and like the ideas and stuff. So I think having an idea of how social media works in this current day and age is really helpful because it just really helps promote things. But I think being super vocal, getting a lot of people to have eyes on what you're doing as well, will then invite other people to come and give support as well. So that's how we essentially grew our first committee. It was probably all through word of mouth, mostly people from King's and Barts and neighboring universities. And that's how we basically started building. And then afterwards, we've got this formal committee sign up and whatnot, which is assuming how you guys joined. But like, it wasn't always like that. It was very much, it's much smaller, more like through word of mouth. But with all things, like, you need to lay the foundations before you can start even thinking of scaling up. So, um, I would assume it's the same with all associations. Just like start small, get a good team, and then just brainstorm like monthly to see how you can scale things up. That's probably what I'd recommend. Why are you thinking of creating any association?
Me?
Yeah.
No, not me, but for the people out there.
Ah, okay.
Starting businesses is actually like becoming more and more popular these days, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I would ever start a business. I mean, my sister wants to start a bakery. I might be able to invest in that, but I feel like my business plans at the moment are very like just closed-minded to dentistry. I think like everyone probably wants to become a practice owner at some point. Yeah, I think starting a business outside of dentistry would be quite cool though, or like something travel related. I think that'd be pretty sick because I think traveling is always something that everyone wants to do. No one really wants to stay in the UK for that long, let's be honest. But I think if we can combine both of those, it'd be quite cool. I met someone yesterday who's a fruit exporter, and he literally just travels the world finding fruit. That is so lit. But obviously, like that's his main like job, right? So he doesn't have to look at teeth like we do. But I think doing something like that, which is completely different, would be so nice. It's just really refreshing. But obviously, does more add more to your plate, so then you have to think about how much you can balance and whatnot. But I think for everyone doing dentistry, keeping your foot out of dentistry is also really important. Whether you want to export fruit, set up a business in your bedroom, you know, do whatever. But yeah, why have you got ideas to start a business?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, no. It's for the people.
For the
Oh, it's
people.
everything for the people, man.
So obviously, since you've created the BTDA, you've done charity hikes, the charity ball, and you've obviously raised a lot of money for really good causes, not to name the Institute of Oral Health, for example. So was giving back to the Tamil community something you always had in mind when you created the BTDA?
Yeah, I think like a part of me always wanted to give back. I think it's the reason why we're in our profession, right? Like we've always wanted to give back to people. It never struck my mind specifically like, yeah, I wanted to help like, yeah, Tamil people in Sri Lanka like so badly in my life because to be honest, like the way my mum used to speak about Sri Lanka, it always sounded like there was nothing there like left for people, which is obviously why they all came. And when I hear about some of my family who live there, still, it sounds to me like they're really struggling. So to me, it seemed like, why would you help a place that's already like burnt down to the ground? Like, surely there isn't much that you can do to help, which is obviously like such backward thinking because these are the places that you do need to go and help. And so then when BTDA went to Sri Lanka in 2023, that was so eye-opening. It was the first time I went to Sri Lanka in like over 20 years. So I was like a happy kid on the flight. Just when we landed, we touched down. I'm seeing all these palm trees. I'm like, yo, what is going on? Like, it's crazy. The humidity hit me as well. And I'm seeing like, like our people, and it just felt really nice. And obviously, like once we went to Jaffna and like Valnia, like all of these different places, Kilinochi as well. Like we saw the kind of state that people are living in, the orphanages, like the war had obviously left people in a very vulnerable state, and it just made sense to help them. And obviously, like there was always a plan with the BTDA to then go and do charitable work in Sri Lanka, potentially South India. There's like indentured workers and things like that. So I think that was always the goal. But for me personally, it really hit as soon as we landed there and we did the work we did there, which is why I've been like so excited to go again. So we're going to be going back next year and then doing more and more work as the years go on. And in collaboration with the Institute of Oral Health Sciences, we can hopefully lay further foundations there and actually do even more profound work there. So, yeah, definitely always been on the cards to do something charitable. I think as humans, we need to be doing charity anyway, like giving back to our community, whether it's Tamil, African, Chinese, like whoever you want to help. Like as long as you're helping someone, um, I think that's a core like value of being human. So it's really nice that we can do it through the BTDA and support other people who want to basically be charitable in that sense. Because I think oral health is so like it's such a diminished thing in Sri Lanka. You go there and literally no one cares about their teeth. Unless it's a severe problem, then they'll go. Like when we went to the hospital, we just saw a queue of people with swellings and like facial problems and things like that. But you will see like a next man in the shop with like decay in their teeth and they just smile, they didn't even care about it. So I think like the importance of oral health is definitely like not spoken about as much there, which is where I'd like us to step in and fill that void for them. So yeah, that's something that we'll build with time, but definitely key part. I hope to see you guys there as well on our next trip.
I want to
Can't
come
wait.
down again. I think last time I went to Sri Lanka was 2018, so it's been a while.
Yeah,
Mm.
same.
Did you go in 2018 as well?
Yeah, I actually
Oh
did.
wow,
That was the
yeah.
last time I went.
You guys are probably like
Um,
cousins, like
wait, whereabouts are you guys from back home? Do you guys know?
In Jaffna. Milton, what about you?
Jaffna's a very big place.
Oh,
Everyone's from
you're
Jaffna.
asking specific.
Yeah, if you know specifics.
Have you heard of Valve?
Val Valve.
Valve, yeah.
Valve. I've heard of it. Is it near the town?
It's a specific town. Like I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, there's Jaffna and then
it's
there's
like a
Valve. I
little
don't know
village,
the in
man.
between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'm from a little village, Erlala, which is like, the airport that's there, Plali Airport.
In Jaffna.
Yeah.
Was it the new one?
Yeah, it's like a new airport. It's literally down the road
Yeah.
from there. Like,
Oh,
yeah. How about you, Milton? Whereabouts are you from back home, if you know?
My dad is from Jaffna, more specifically, I think the place is called Ilewale,
Hmm.
I think,
mm.
somewhere towards the northern part. My mum is from Valnia, more specifically, I believe the town is called Neriakulam, something like that. Super small village, but yeah, man, I haven't actually. When I went last time in 2023, I didn't even get to go back to like where my parents are from. Like I can still see my mum's old house on Google Maps, and you literally like just see how it's all been bombed. So crazy. And then like I'll see pictures of the same house like from decades ago, and like you can see how structured it was, like multiple bedrooms, like 3 stories high. Now if you look on Google Maps, it's just like ruins, which is so insane. But yeah, no, I've always wanted to go back and visit that place because Like, that's where everyone grew up in it. So yeah, I think, have you guys been back to your like your parents' villages and stuff?
Yeah.
And
I
a
feel
lot
like
of people
everyone
don't like
should
the
go
village
back.
though.
Really.
Yeah, because like the mosquitoes and like the knives that are walking around.
So do you think everyone
Yeah.
should go back to their hometown? Not like permanently, but like to go visit.
No, I think definitely reconnecting is so important. I think there's something really unique about having, you know, being brought up here. Like we've got British values. Like there's so much to give and explore within our own British values and whatnot. But I think going back to like where your ancestors essentially grew up, like that, I feel like there's just such an emotional and spiritual connection to that land. Like literally when I touched down on that flight, man, like it was just surreal. You know, I remember crying like as we were driving because I was like, what the hell, this is nuts. So yeah, I think like I wish it was something that we did more often because growing up, I feel like the British part of me was like, I don't want to even think about like going to Sri Lanka, like it's on dusty island, like that's yucky. And like, why am I even speaking Tamil? Like people around me don't even understand me. Like, what's the point? Because I didn't actually grow up with a lot of Tamil people around me. Because I went to like a very Irish based school in Harrow. So like a lot of my friends growing up were mostly Irish or like from, you know, Nigeria, Ghana, like Jamaica, etc. So, and that's the area that I've kind of grown up in as well. So for me, growing up, like there wasn't really an incentive to really learn Tamil. So then when I went to Sri Lanka, it was on the complete opposite side of the spectrum. I was like, damn, I really wish I learned, even for this one moment where I can actually like really conversate with people far more like fluently. That would have been so much nicer. So I think when people have got that early childhood reconnection with going back to their parents' countries or really learning the language and things like that, it really does help form like an identity that's much more than just being British. You're like you're British Tamil, you're BTDA. So yeah, I think it really adds to your identity, and your identity is always evolving. It just makes sense to go back and kind of retrace those steps. Have you guys ever done, was it 21 Me?
I mean, what's the point? I know where I'm from.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I feel like someone like Abisha might be like Mexican or something as well.
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
Really?
I see
Yeah,
it.
I've gotten quite a few things. Mexican isn't one of them though.
is it? What else have you
Where else
got?
did you get?
I mean, people say a lot of things. I've gotten Brazil, Mauritius, North Indian is one I get a lot.
Yeah,
Gujarati, all of that. But
Gujarati. I see that, to be fair.
No, I think the BTDA
yeah.
funds must go on her 21 on me. We need to get to the bottom of this.
To be fair, I've got Mauritius. I've got people have said I'm from Trinidad, Bengali, Pakistani.
I see
I don't know.
Bengali.
No, you don't, man.
No,
Relax.
but that's why he was in Whitechaps. You know, back in the day, he
Yeah,
was in
no,
the
I had
trenches in
to. Yeah,
Whitechaps.
it's just retracing my steps, isn't it?
Before he went to Sri Lanka, he was like, "I've got to go to Whitechapel first, see my real roots."
Whitechapel fried chicken, man.
Yeah,
Have you guys been to KHF in Whitechapel?
okay.
Stepney
Come again?
Green.
No, we usually like
KHF.
Shaw's or like
They
Monster
got
Burger.
Shaw's there now.
Yeah,
You
come on,
missed
Surprised
you gotta.
Monster
out.
Burger's still open.
You missed out big time. Yeah,
Have
Monster
how have
Burger's
you not come
bang on.
back? I thought you would have been there every day. You know?
What for food?
No, as in just back to your
Yeah,
back to
like I don't
Bart's
have a
Group.
Clinics.
life.
You know your name still gets brought up in clinics.
What for the wrong reasons, probably.
No, as in like I think the other day, who was it? Doctor Roy. So he saw me on his Instagram. He was like, "I saw you on my Instagram." I was like, "Doing what?" He was like, "Ah, something with Milton. He can't leave us alone."
You know, literally like a couple months into being an associate, a friend of mine at Colgate invited me to one of these like some Colgate event, and guess who I see there?
Was
Dr.
it Dr.
Woolley.
Roy?
Yeah, and then I'm just like, bro, what are you doing here? And he's like looking at me like, what are you doing here? I don't know, it's so strange though, like speaking to a tutor after university, it's way more chill. because then you're like, yeah, I'm a dentist as well. Like I got my number, you can't touch me now. But yeah, it's just way more casual. Like I remember Roy used to always say like, once you guys graduate, we're going to be colleagues. Like there's no more of, like that hierarchy at uni or whatever. We're colleagues and friends and things like that. So it really like hit home when I met him because it was such a nice interaction we had. Like it was so sweet. There was no pressure like that university style pressure. Me and him, we were, oh my God, like we go way back. Like, he actually interviewed me for uni as well. So it's insane. Like I've literally we've got this weird attachment since like 2017, man. That's probably why he's just sick of me now. But no, he's really sweet. He's definitely like one of the nicest tutors at Barts for sure. Yeah, definitely always there to help support the students. But he doesn't make it seem like it's he doesn't make university seem like it's just like a 5-year thing. He really emphasizes that it's a long-term relationship that we build with everyone. Because ultimately, like it's a super small world. Like your nurse will know someone that you went to uni with, like because nurses travel around as well, like locuming and whatnot. Like on Monday, I had a locum who locumed at another practice where I know like 3 of the dentists there, and I didn't even know they work in that practice. Like it's insane. So yeah, really small world. I don't need, I just missed the topic, bro. Where have I gone?
Going back to that point of you saying that you grew up in a school that didn't have that many Tamil people, you're surrounded by other ethnicities, and then you went on to build something like the BTDA. Could you say that because you didn't have that communal connection in like your formative years, that really pushed you to be like, okay, I need to find my community? And if so, like along the way, so you already mentioned some key figures. So you said Ash, Rash, Savika. Were there any other inspirations that were really fundamental to help build your community?
Yeah, so like a lot of people came a bit later on in the journey. So like obviously Nivashini, Espina, that's why they're the presence at the moment because their help has been unsurmountable. Like they're legends. Lance as well, like he's so driven to get BTDA to the next level as well. Essentially, all the people who are like the directors in BTDA through the CIC, like they're all people that are really like passionate about the growth from the very beginning essentially, which is why like I think they were really instrumental in the growth. But I think for me there wasn't necessarily like there was never a calling for me to become like or like to start something like this BTDA. Even throughout uni I tried to connect with more Tamil people because there was an opportunity there. Obviously like you got QMT SOC, BLT SOC, etc. But I never found it to be that inviting, especially where like for me where I didn't really grow up with like super ingrained in Tamil culture. Like the most I did growing up was watching movies and listening to songs and things like that. There wasn't really much more. And I think especially coming from like a Catholic household, a lot of like, Tamil culture is ingrained in the religion as well, like in Hinduism. So there was a part of that that I didn't get to experience as well. So I think growing up, like there was some level of a disconnect. But then when I went to uni and I met more Tamil people, namely Savika, you've got people like Elenini, Varun, etc. They were like so inviting and like they were so sweet, friendly. It's not like I'm like trying to avoid Tamil people, but like it just happened. Like I saw them, like we spoke, it's chill. Like they were encouraging me to like get into touch with more of like the community side of things. So then I joined BLT SOC actually as like a dental representative, which at the time was again it was like close to COVID. We didn't get to do a lot, so I didn't get to really fulfill that role as much. But it gave me an insight as to like what Tamil people are like when they actually had like a bit more of a like a well-rounded experience growing up. Even within my own family, like sometimes I get taken the piss out of because I don't speak Tamil like exceptionally fluently. Like I have cousins of mine who just take the piss, and I'm like, it's always so off-putting. So then growing up, like there was this thing where I was like, look, bruv, like if I'm gonna get, taken the piss out of, like, why am I even trying? Because like your own family are like taking the piss, so what's the point? So then when I went to uni though, like it was completely different. Like these guys, they would obviously take the piss, but they would encourage me to like learn it properly. Like I even took a few classes during uni as well, just to kind of brush up on those skills, which probably led me into then thinking of the BTDA. Like there are some people in our community who are, set on encouraging others rather than putting people down. I think that's such a South Asian thing as well. Like sometimes your family are like your worst people. Like they can really like bring you down. Whereas then you've got people like you've never met before in your life and you've literally met them for like 2 years and they've already made such a profound difference. So I was like, if I'm starting BTDA, I really need these guys on my side to help support that. So yeah, I still meet my like Irish friends and Jamaican friends, and I've still got a very close Tamil friend that I went to like nursery with. And like it's so funny because we never grew up speaking Tamil to each other. Somehow this guy is fluent and he never went to Tamil school or whatever. But he's Sri Lankan Tamil, but he speaks Indian Tamil because he learnt from movies essentially. So there's one time like I was telling him like I'm in Tamil Soc or whatever at uni, and I'm just there like speaking to him in my broken Tamil, and then this man suddenly starts speaking some fluent Indian Tamil. I'm like, what the hell is going on? But yeah, he just said that he obviously learnt from like movies and whatnot. So I think at moments in your life, you'll meet people who will have like that nice effect on you, where you learn a bit more about your identity, and then you can choose to explore a bit deeper, which is what I chose to do with the PTD.
So would you say that actually it's a strength that you didn't grow up around the Tamil community, because now you've got like a more like your view of the world is from all these people from different walks of life, compared to someone that just grew up around the Tamil community, who just saw everything through the eyes of the Tamil community as well.
Yeah, no, I think that's another great thing about being British, right? I was surrounded by so many different people. Like you learn so many different things about different walks of life. Like when I've got Irish patients, I can actually speak to them about like different parts of Ireland because I know some of my friends are from there. Like some of their own culture and traditions. And then like if I got a Jamaican patient, she busts out some patois to them. Like it's really nice. But I think if you're restricted with the Tamil community growing up, like you may not have that well-rounded experience. But having said that, I wish I did have a bit more of like a Tamil community around me growing up. I think that really would have helped polish my like language skills. But beyond that, I think I was still quite happy with the experience that I had growing up. Especially like I think Tamil movies and like songs is already such an experience in itself. Like you just fall in love with it and yeah, like it just you learn a lot about the culture from movies as well, actually, which is always quite nice. But yeah, I think I had quite a nice, well-rounded experience.
I think that's a sentiment that loads of our viewers would like associate with, because I feel like the same as well. So I grew up in a town in Essex where there's not many Tamil
Mm.
people. There's only a couple, like a handful. I went to school where there's only a handful of Tamil people there. It was mainly like you said, like white, black, but there wasn't really that much representation of. I didn't go to
Mm.
Ilford County, for example, where it was just
Yeah, yeah,
surrounded by
yeah.
Tamil people. So same way when I joined the BLT SOC, the QMT SOC,
Hmm.
it didn't feel like I was fully part of the thing, fully ingrained with them. But that's why I found like the BTDA is it's a lot more relaxed. So I feel like if there's anyone listening and they also feel the same way, that okay, I wish I could get more involved with the Tamil community, but I don't feel like I'm surrounded by Tamil people yet. Maybe perhaps the BTDA is like a really good community for them to get involved with.
Yeah, like I wouldn't say I feel like some of the Tamil societies in the past have been quite extremist with like who they let in for their committees and like their events and whatnot. So my older sister, I would say she's been somewhat more ingrained in Tamil culture growing up. I suppose maybe because she had more friends. She actually went to Tamil school as well. I didn't. My younger sister didn't go to Tamil school, so we already had that kind of disadvantage growing up. But I remember when my younger sister went to QM and she tried to join up to these events and stuff, they just looked at her like, nah. So I think at some times like they can be quite selective, and they're super, super groupy. Whereas here, like at BTDA, like it's essentially just like a family that we're just growing. Because ultimately, like our careers are just going to take us like 30, 40 years deep. And even after we've retired, there's still like mentorship opportunities, like even just meeting people from BTDA to just go to like the pub or something or just get a meal. There's that lifelong connection. Whereas at uni is essentially like those 3 years, probably make a few friends, and then you chill with those friends for the rest of your life, whatever. But here is just it's way bigger, and it's essentially a really big family. I don't want it to become to a point where it's like super structured in the sense that it's like almost like people don't want to come. Like I always want it to be a very calm, relaxed feel, and I think that reflects me as a person. And I really like how the BTDA is developed in that sense because it's really nice to hear that from you, Harry, that you feel like it's not that kind of committee. It's more like open, warm. Because I feel like that's the kind of person that I am, and that's how I would want BTDA to be like. So yeah, if anyone wants to join, like, just join, innit?
When you're trying to build this community, there must have been some moments, right? Because every founder has that moment where they doubt if it's ever worth it, by the amount of time you put in and you're not getting stuff back. Was there ever a time like that? And what kept you pushing through?
The first thing was like, am I a fraud? Like, I can barely speak Tamil. I can't read, write. I'm like, and I'm here, like, yeah, the founder of BTDA. Like, there was always that imposter syndrome when I first started this because I was like, can I even do it? Like, am I even the right person to do it? But then I was thinking, like, you know what, man? Like, I'm sure other people have had the idea in the past, but they never executed it. So here I am. I've got this idea. I love leadership. I love big communities. So why don't I just do it? And I think we always knew that it was going to be a bit of a struggle. Like even when I was in DentSoc, it's such a highly established organization. It's got thousands of, you know, members across like multiple years. It's not just a single thing as well. It's like associated with other societies across the UK. So coming from something that big, and knowing how successful it can become over, periods of, dedication and time and effort, I knew that BTDA is obviously going to be difficult to start off with, but as soon as we gain traction, gain really like passionate people such as yourselves, then we can take it to the next level. And it's just like, it's just growth at the end of the day, right? Like yesterday we met up with the loveliest lady who's essentially like she works in like the banking sector, and she's like essentially basically agreed to give BTDA like mentorship. So nothing financial, is literally just her knowledge, and like that in itself could just skyrocket us over the next few years. So I think it's really opened up more and more connections as we get bigger and bigger, and only time will really show like how big we get. But I want us to get to a point where like, you know how everyone knows about Tamils in medicine? Like it's just a thing. Like I think there was a statistic like a few years ago. Was it a quarter or like a fifth of all medical doctors are Tamil or something like that? So they're so well represented, like through the BTMA as well. Like they've been doing a really good job in helping that representation. Whereas with the dental side of the community, especially in this country, there's still like that underrepresentation. Like a lot of people still don't really know about us. But I think through the BTDA, we're already starting to make people aware. Because like some of my patients have even seen like reels that we've posted, and they'd be like, "Oh, so like you're part of this BTDA thing," and I'm like, "Yeah." So yeah, like it's really nice because even like our non-Tamil patients are seeing this. So it's such a nice way to get that reach. So very different to DentSoc because obviously we weren't doing anything like this, but in that sense, it's probably been better than DentSoc because our reach is obviously more national and potentially international at some point.
Could you tell me about like a specific moment where you thought, you know what, maybe I should scrap this idea?
I would say as soon as we started it, there hasn't been a moment like that. But before I started it, there have been plenty of moments like that, which probably delayed us actually starting. As soon as, I don't know if you guys like this, but I feel like as soon as you start something, you just have to lock in and get the job done. Like there's no backtracking at that point. So I think that's another part of my personality is if I start something, like I just need to finish it. Like for example, like if I'm trying to floss through a contact, like a really tight contact for a patient just after I've done a restoration, I won't stop until I can get that flipping floss through nice and cleanly. And then my nurse will be like, Milton, just stop, like just use this TP brush. And I'm like, nah, 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 I need to floss this. So it's like I think when you start something, you just want to get it finished. So when I started BTA, thankfully I haven't had any moments like that. But I think part of it comes down to the fact that the committee have been so great in supporting me. Um, and they've really helped drive that culture that I wanted to bring to BTDA. Because I don't think like I would have even met people like you guys, you know, without BTDA. So yeah, I think the only times I would have maybe had a doubt would have been before. And I was like, it more comes down to my ability of identifying myself as a Tamil rather than like the ability to actually do it, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think that's where the imposter syndrome came from. I mean, I started it
So
as a dental student as well. So there was that other thing as well. Like, can someone this junior, not even a dentist yet, be leading an organization like this that could become really big? But then obviously I thought about it and I was like, but when BTDA really kicks off in maybe 5 years, I'll be then like maybe 4 years graduated. So then I'll be a bit more comfortable calling myself like at least like a junior clinician. So yeah, I think you have to kind of think about things long term as well.
the next generation of Tamil dental students, when they look back at, let's just say in a few years' time, say in 5 years' time, what do you hope they'll say Milton left behind?
What for the BTDA or like at Barts, man?
Or it's in general, what do you think your impact is going to be, say in the next 5 years, on future Tamil dental students?
Good question. I would say like at the moment we've really been focusing on like education, but that education has mostly been for like interview workshops and things like that, trying to get people into dentistry. I feel like there hasn't been too much that we've done as of yet with dental students and dentists, which is where our banking connection comes in because she's really going to help us scale up to then bring in these senior dentists. So then once there's that established kind of connection across like generations of dentists, in 5 years' time, I would want people like myself who are quite junior, but at that point probably still, you know, relatively experienced to be teaching dental students. So coming into uni, Milton Lecture Theatre, giving lectures, like a BTDA study club essentially for students, so that they get an insight of what real life dentistry is like whilst they're at dental school. Because we had very limited opportunities like that when we were in uni. And this is obviously not something that we want to do just for Tamils. Like it can be anyone at that university, because it's a really nice experience to have. Like I remember there was this one lecture that I had at uni. It was from a university lecture, and it was a university-based topic. But our lecturer decided to go like way more in detail with like biomimetic principles, like caries removal endpoints and things like that. Uh, I don't know if you've heard about those terms, but I can maybe give you guys a study club later. But they were like going into way more details. Um, and this was something that as a student, you're like, whoa, like it's just not drill and fill. There's like way more to it. So I think if I was to go back to uni and give this kind of information, it'd be really nice because then maybe students could look up to me as like someone who can help drive that passion for like clinical learning, but also like I want them to know that there are always someone older who they can look up to as a colleague and a friend and get that advice from, rather than having to like essentially be shitting themselves throughout their whole like dental school experience. I think that's what my goal would be, just so people are a bit more comfortable, basically all around.
So you're talking about how BTDA is like a family now, and before it was just like an idea with a couple of people. How did you think you transformed that idea in your head to this huge association with so many people that want to join?
I think like when it comes to a leadership position, like one of the best practice principles that I've got at the moment really ingrains this sense of culture within the practice. And it's really similar to how you would want an organization to run as well. Because ultimately, like this BTA would be amazing if it can continue after all of us like pass away, like in what, 70, 80 years. Some of the longest standing British associations have been going on for like hundreds of years. Like that'd be so insane to me. But even after we pass away, I still want those values that we originally had to be passed down. And it all comes down to the culture that we've ingrained within this association or organization or whatever. So I think a key part of that for me was initially when we started, I really had to get people who were on the same page as me, almost like have to indoctrinate these guys just so like we were all on the same page. And I think like when you start something, you become super passionate about it. Other people, see that passion, they want to help you deliver that. But then it's never been just about me. Like it's always been about this whole wider family that I keep alluding to. Because it's not just going to benefit me. Like there is no personal benefit to me doing this. Like apart from being called a founder, which maybe strokes my ego, like there's nothing more. Like it's for everyone. Like I am going to learn from you guys. You will learn from some other people on the committee. Like we'll hopefully end up learning from like people 40, 50 years in their career. We'll learn from freshers as well. Like I've learned so much from Nivashini, and when I met her, she was essentially a fresher. So like, it really goes both ways. And I think that constant learning, that humility will really take BTDA to a point where it will still feel like a family. And I think that's one of the nicest things about dentistry is like there's no hierarchy once you've kind of graduated. Like everyone is still on a journey. Like you could be 50 years deep into your career, but you can still like mess up a cavity. You can still mess up a crown prep. Probably not as often as someone who's obviously recently graduated, but it can still happen. You can still have a bad day. And like obviously you're going to be working for yourself. So don't get me wrong, there's still loads of competition in the industry across the whole industry. Like people are still quite competitive. They're all sometimes people are trying to one up each other, but I want the BTDA to be a much safer community where like I don't feel like people are doing that to each other. Um, because what's the point? Like no one's going to really benefit from doing that. Like so, I think that importance of culture, just keeping that mindset within like future generations, committee members and whatnot, because they're the people who will instill it. Like when I'm 50, I'm not going to be doing like the kid's speech. I probably will, but I don't think it will hit the same. So I think when someone younger who's probably got a bit more like physical passion, like they can actually like orchestrate it a bit more. I think it'll be much nicer. But essentially, like a younger version of our current committee in a couple of decades, that would be really nice because then it's just that continuing.
So I was just gonna move on to ask. You said that you were like, "Oh, where are the Tamils?" when you were at uni, right?
Hmm.
So obviously now with the BTDA, how does it feel that you've created the representation that you were looking for whilst you were
How
at
does it
uni?
feel?
Yeah.
It feels good, man. It strokes my ego. uh, Now, honestly, like when we did that recent mini conference in June, like Harry, were you there? I think you said you were there, isn't it? I don't think got to see you there, but
No, you didn't see
even
me.
like yeah, I didn't see you. Sorry, but like even when Abisha stayed over, like later, just to like talk and whatnot. I think like seeing people such as yourselves who are even willing to like talk to strangers, like the people that you've met for the first time. I think for me, it really felt like, okay, like BTD is actually going somewhere. Um, so I think like in that sense, it's just positive feel that is making us want to grow this more and more and more. Um, because now like that community that I was kind of always chasing is starting to build itself, and we've got people on the team who are also passionate about building that further and further. So it's just like you're bringing all of these people out of the shadows, and in reality, like if it wasn't for BTDA, probably wouldn't have met a lot of you guys. So yeah, like even when we went on the hike, Harry, like that was the first time I met you. Like it was so fun on that hike, partially because obviously I met you for the first time. Like it was really fun, like getting to know you as well. And then
That's
you brought your
cute.
sister along as well, and she's not even a dentist. But we were both just like taking the piss out of you. It's like it was funny. But then after that, then I realized that you actually had a really underlying, even your application for joining the podcast team was like so passionate. So like I think that's when I was like really excited to kind of get you guys on the team, see how things go from here. But yeah, I guess like to answer your question, yeah, I guess like we're in the process of building it, but it's there and the community is growing. We're bringing people out of the woods to join us now, so it's nice.
Abisha, did you want to ask the special question at the end?
The special question. Okay, you watch movies, so this one should be a good one for you. If your life was a Tamil movie, which one would it be?
Sky, man. I had a feeling you're gonna ask me. I didn't even get to prepare it. Probably Shivaji because I'm gonna be more soon, man.
Is that so? Out of every single
Elaborate.
film,
No, 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 no. I'm
out of
joking. I'm
every
joking.
single
I'm joking.
Shivaji, because the
I'm joking. I'd probably say I relate most to VIP. Probably like the struggle factor of Dhanush, but obviously like I'm not unemployed, so I can't really like relate that much to it. But I think his character really like hit home, like the Amma sentiment and stuff like that's basically me. So I think like his comeback was obviously like everyone dreams of having a comeback like that. So I think that was something that I relate to quite a lot. But in terms of like what reflects me the most, I don't know, man. Obviously I said Annamalai, but that's like that sounds BS.
he thinks he's him, main character energy, right?
Probably Onion, man. Do you know why?
Onion, why? Well, you got all these different faces.
Because you got Certified Lover Boy,
Mm.
you've got the Sweet Angel, and then you got the Demon Time as well. So I think all three of those encompass my personality quite nicely. That's
Which
what
one are
I
you
would
right now?
probably Demon Time, innit? Yeah, I would probably say I think Onion is actually quite a good movie that I would say would I would base my personality off, like triple personality disorder.
Yeah. So Milton, where can we follow you? What's your Instagram handle so people listening can follow you?
Yeah, so I suppose the more important one to follow is obviously BTDA. So if you just search up BTDA, it should come up on Instagram. My personal dental related Instagram is Dr. Milts, so Dr. Milts. So if you guys want to reach out to me, you can drop me a message there if you want to ask any more questions about anything. It'll be probably tagged in the podcast anyway, so you can find me through there.
Okay. Well, thank you, Abisha, for co-hosting with me today as well. Got some really great questions and answers from you, Dr. Milton, right?
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. Would be excited to be invited again at some point. Be really cool.
We could probably get you in after your Sri Lanka trip, right? You can go in January.
Yeah, hopefully. So
Yeah.
then we can do another follow up on that. Talk a bit more
Mhm.
about our experiences with that. That'll be quite good.
Okay. Brilliant. So, yeah, until next time.